Good evening. Welcome to Bulletin at 9 with the Sentinel. I'm Moinitam. First up, the headlines at this hour. Former President Pranab Mukherjee passes away at 84. COVID to come under control by Diwali, says Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan. At least 61 pregnant women and 877 newborn die in Meghalaya. And now the news in details. Former President Pranab Mukherjee passed away this evening. He was 84 and he was on ventilator support. His health had worsened after a lung infection. He was in coma since a brain surgery earlier this month. He had a fall at his Rajaji Marg residence and he was rushed to the Army Research and Referral Hospital in New Delhi. And the surgery was conducted to remove a clot from his brain, but he went into coma ever since the surgery that was done earlier this month. A congressman for 5 decades, and he has been 7-time member of parliament. Pranab Mukherjee, popularly known as Pranab Dada, he has held some of the most powerful top portfolios in the Union Cabinet. He has been India's Finance Minister, Defense Minister, External Affairs Minister, and the Commerce Minister. In fact, it was in 1969 that he first entered Rajya Sabha. Before getting into politics, Pranab Dada, as fondly he is called amongst most journalists in Delhi and also amongst his former cabinet colleagues and ministers, he was actually, in fact, he was a teacher and a journalist too before entering politics. In 1969, he entered Rajya Sabha first, and then he was re-elected 4 times to Rajya Sabha. In 2004, he entered Lok Sabha and he was re-elected to the lower house in 2009 again. And it is in 1972 that he was part of the Indira Gandhi's Council of Ministers. Of course, he was known as one of the troubleshooters for the Congress regime, particularly during the government led by Manmohan Singh. That is when he was known as one of the best statesmen that the Congress party had. And also, he had an astute legal mind. He was extremely popular across party lines. It is in 2017 that he exited Rashtrapati Bhavan, and in 2019 he was named for the country's highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna, by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Modi described Pranab Dada as the outstanding statesman of our times. A very, very sad day, and condolences had poured in from across the spectrum, be it sportsperson, politicians, actors, across the board. A lot of condolence messages coming in. In fact, it was his son Abhijit who had tweeted, and that is when everybody got to know. That's the tweet, Abhijit Mukherjee tweeting, and that is how everybody got to know about the passing away of the former president of India and one of the best known politicians of India. We all pay homage to this great leader. And now, moving on to other news. The Union Health Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan, has said, in fact, he has expressed confidence that come Diwali, the number of COVID-19 cases will come under control. He said this inaugurating the Nation First webinar series organized by the Anant Kumar Foundation. And he pointed out that the country was much ahead in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic. He said that the COVID-19 will significantly come under control by Deepavali this year. The leaders and common people have effectively worked towards fighting against the pandemic. The virus, of course, has taught a lesson. That is what the minister has said. And the lesson is that there will be a new normal and everybody needs to be more diligent and more cautious about their lifestyles. The minister further said that India is not lagging behind anyone else in the world in the country's efforts to contribute towards the vaccine against COVID. In fact, the minister said that India has about 7 to 8 vaccine candidates, 3 of them in the clinical trial phases and rest in preclinical trial phases. And by the year end, India should be ready with a vaccine against COVID. The minister also highlighted that in February this year, India had just 1 lab, and today the number stands at 1,583 across the nation. Out of this, more than 1,000 are government labs. The country is conducting about 1 million tests per day, which is way ahead of the target. Meanwhile, the country's COVID count stands at 3.62 crores. Moving on to news from Meghalaya. Due to lack of institutional support and lack of medical facilities and services following the COVID-19 pandemic, at least 61 pregnant women and 877 newborn babies have died. Now this has happened just between April and July this year. Now, according to a senior Meghalaya health official, the expecting mothers and babies died due to diseases other than COVID-19. Moreover, pregnant women and newborns died as every hospital and healthcare facility in the state had been busy in tackling COVID-19 patients. Since the pregnant women and the newborns could not be admitted to the hospitals and other healthcare centers, they did not receive the required and adequate medical attention, which led to their untimely demise. Sources very close to the health department said. In fact, it may be mentioned here that the Meghalaya government had earlier issued, in fact, the Meghalaya health department had also issued directives to all government and private hospitals and healthcare centers that nobody should be turned away. And even if they are non-COVID patients, they should be taken in, and particularly patients, including pregnant women, even if they come from notified COVID-19 containment zones, they have to be taken in by the hospitals, irrespective of whether they are government hospitals, private hospitals, or healthcare centers. But unfortunately, as the numbers speak for themselves, 61 pregnant women and 877 newborn babies died. Very, very unfortunate incident there from Meghalaya. And as far as the COVID situation in the state is concerned, 2,362 is the number of COVID cases that the state has at this point of time. 1,091 patients recovering from the infection. As many as 10 people have died due to the virus, and 1,261 people are being treated in various hospitals and COVID care centers. Moving on to news from Mizoram. Mizoram's ruling Mizo National Front, or MNF, has swept the local body elections by securing a majority in 324 village councils and 262 wards in local councils. Polling was conducted in 550 village councils, equivalent to a Gram Panchayat, and 59 local councils, equivalent to municipal bodies, on August 27th, while following all the COVID-19 protocol and strict social distancing norms. 12 village councils were earlier won uncontested, while polling was deferred in 8 village councils and 24 local councils to prevent the spread of coronavirus. News from Manipur now. Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh on Monday inaugurated Level 1 Trauma Care Center at the Regional Institute of Medical Sciences, or RIMS. He did this via video conferencing. The center has been inaugurated as part of capacity building for developing trauma care facilities on national highways. That is the tweet up there on your screens, viewers, from the Chief Minister's office. The aim of the center is to bring down preventable deaths because of a road accident by developing a pan-India trauma care network within every 100-kilometer radius. So that is a significant development coming in from Manipur. Moving back to some national news, a fresh clash between the Indian and Chinese soldiers took place on the intervening night of August 29 and 30th, and this happened on the southern banks of Pangyong So Lake in eastern Ladakh, breaking the uneasy calm that had persisted following the deadly clash in Galwan Valley on June 15. A brigade commander level flag meeting was held at Chuchul to resolve the issue, and army statement said, according to the statement, on the night of August 29-30th, the People's Liberation Army or PLA troops violated the previous consensus arrived at during military and diplomatic engagements amid the ongoing standoff in eastern Ladakh. The PLA troops carried out provocative military movements to change the status quo, the statement said. Indian troops preempted this PLA activity on the southern bank of Pangyong So Lake, undertook measures to strengthen the Indian side's positions and thwart Chinese intentions to unilaterally change facts on ground, the army statement said. Now, here is some interesting news. Now, what do you do when your friend, that too a billionaire, has his 98th birthday? Billionaire and philanthropist friend Bill Gates baked a cake, and that too a yummy chocolate Oreo cake. And he wished his friend Warren Buffett, the American investor, he took to Twitter to wish his friend, and he also posted this particular video. Take a look. Bill Gates baking a cake. Absolutely wonderful, totally stacked up with Oreo cookies. And in fact, Mr. Gates did mention in one of his tweets and his blog that apparently Oreo is one of Warren Buffett's favorite cookies. Absolutely delicious cake being baked by Bill Gates. Now, moving on to another story from back home here in Assam. Erosion became a significant uniting factor. Hindus and Muslims in a village in a place called Tamulpur in Assam came together to pray and put up a brave fight against massive erosion that this particular village has been witnessing for the past 3 to 4 years. Look at this video from Tamulpur in Assam.
সাইডেৰে আমাৰ ওপৰ অনিষ্ট নোহোৱাকৈ মাওলা আল্লাহ আমাৰ ওপৰ কোনো ক্ষতি নোহোৱাকৈ তুমি অন্য সাইডেৰে লৈ যাব পাৰে মাওলা কান্তাত তাওয়াবুৰ ৰহিম আস্তাগফিৰুল্লাহ ইন্নাল্লাহা গফুৰুৰ ৰহিম ওয়ালা হাওলা ওয়ালা কুওয়াতা ইল্লা বিল্লাহিল আযীম
মানুহৰ ঘৰ আছে ঘৰ দুৱাৰ একে ৰাতি অটোৱা লৈ গ'ল আৰু তাৰ উপৰি ইয়াতে বহুত বস্তি আছিল তাৰে পিছত এই নদীটো ইমান নাছিলে এতিয়া বহুত যোৱা বছৰৰ পৰা বহুতে সেই হ'ল বহুত গৰাখহনীয়া হৈ গ'ল বহুতৰে ঘৰ দুৱাৰ ভাঙি লৈ গুচি গ'ল
আমাৰ নদীৰ গৰাখহনীয়াৰ কাৰণত আজি আমি ইয়াত হিন্দু মুছলমান মহিলা প্লাছ আমি জেন্টছ সকলোখিনি ইয়াত সমবেত হৈছোঁ কাৰণ যোৱা বছৰো আমাৰ ঠিক তেনেকুৱা পৰ্যায় হৈছিল গৰাখহনীয়া হৈছিল বহুতো মাটি আমাৰ ঘৰ মানে বস্তি তামোলবাৰী উটুৱাই নিছিল তেতিয়াও আমি আমাৰ ৰজাঘৰীয়াক জনালোঁ কিন্তু তেখেতসকলে আমাক কোনো ধৰণৰ সঁহাৰি দিয়া নাই নিদিলে এইবাৰো আমাৰ ঠিক তেনেকৈ আকৌ গৰাখহনীয়া হ'ল আমাৰ ইয়াত গামাৰি বাগান আছিল পিছফালে তামোল বাগান নাৰিকল আছিল এইবিলাক এইবাৰ আকৌ গৰাখহনীয়াই লৈ গ'ল গতিকে এইবাৰ আমি ইয়াত হিন্দু মুছলমান আমি দুয়োটা সমাজ লগ লাগি আকৌ নাম প্ৰসংগ দোৱা কৰিলোঁ যাতে ভগৱানে আমাৰ এই নৈটো আমাক অন্যায় নকৰি মাজেদি গুচি যায় নদীটো আজি প্ৰায় ৩-৪ বছৰৰ পৰা এনেকুৱা হৈ আছে আমি ৰজাঘৰীয়াক জনাওঁ কিন্তু তেখেতসকলে কোনো কাণসাৰ নকৰে আৰু আমাক কোনো ধৰণৰ সঁহাৰি দিয়া নাই এতিয়ালৈকে
Extremely strong visuals coming in there from Tamulpur, and in fact this is what Assam stands for, unity. Many languages, many religions, many tribes, many clans, but end of the day it's all united. Each one is stand united and they're all Assamese, and as we say it in Ohomia, Assam is the land of Hongkorajan. Now this next video is all about how best you can balance. Take a close look. There's this man on a bicycle balancing a long piece of bamboo. Enjoy this video, and with that we end today's bulletin. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Till we meet again, goodbye, stay safe, take care, good night. But of course, do not forget to log into sentinelassam.com for all the news and updates from the state, the region, the nation, and the world. And also, do follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Check out all our news videos on Facebook and YouTube, and catch our new show starting tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Thank you once again. Goodbye, and enjoy this video.
Cuidado. Bilangnya buat tahu yang mana? Yang mana tahu dah? Kau buka aja kan? Cakap tahu ni wah bukan. Lagi deh. Baca ni. Lagi deh mana ni bang? Mama angkat bola.